All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Math is easy, step by step. So, welcome to part 22. This is example number 3 of finding the quotient. That's the answer to a division problem using scientific notation. So, in this example number 3, the coefficient is going to be too small. We're going to have to adjust before we can say we have a final answer, the coefficients. So let's just jump right on here to it. We got coefficient 1.8 times 10 to the 6th power divided by 9 times 10 to the 8th power. Hey, what's that first step you're going to want to take in solving this problem? Okay, so that first step you want to take is dividing coefficient 1.8 divided by 9. And we have 1.8 divided by 9. And I'm going to go through this first step slowly. Sometimes on these exams, you're not allowed a calculator, so I'm going to go through and showing you how to divide manually. All right. So first you start off with 9. And you have to ask yourself 9 times what number up here would give me 1. And there are no numbers that you can multiply 9 with that'll give you a 1. So then you move over to these two digits, and it's no longer 1, it's 18. So 9 times what number will get me 18 or less? I know 9 times 3 is 27. That's too large. It's bigger than 18. That will not work. So I'll drop a number down. 9 times 2 is 18, so I'll subtract 18 from 18. That gives me 0. I'm going to take the next number, whether it's 0, 1, 2, whatever. I bring it down. I bring it down. I bring it down, all my zeros. And once I find there's nothing more I can divide, I'm done. Now, you can add as many zeros behind that number 2. You can go on forever in an infinity and add a bunch of zeros. It's just going to continue to be 0, 0, 0, 0. So we're finished. 0.20 is my new coefficient. Okay, what's step 2 in solving and finding the quotient of this problem in scientific notation? What's that second step? And hint, 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 there'll be a third step as well. What's the second and the third step? All right, so that's step 2 I mentioned before is to divide the base 10 with the exponents 6 and 8. And remember, when we multiplied, we would add those exponents. And so when you divide, it's the opposite. You're going to subtract. The base is the same. It stays the same in your answer. That's a base 10. 6 minus, that's a positive 6 minus a positive 8. And there's two ways you can write that. Just 6 minus 8. Or you can put a plus sign between those two terms. That subtraction symbol for most people is really a negative that goes with the 8. So that subtraction symbol goes with that and turns that positive 8 into a negative 8. So you can put a plus sign between two terms. 6 plus a negative 8. Now you're adding a positive number and a negative number, right? You have $6 and then you had to borrow $8. That's the negative 8. How much do you owe before you get to 0? Well, that's negative 2. You still have to pay back negative 2 or 2 more dollars before you get to 0. We have base 10 stays the 10. 6 plus a negative 8 or 6 minus 8 is a negative 2 value. So now the last step is to put the coefficient, a new coefficient of 0.2 times 10 to the negative 2. Let's see how that works out. All right, here you can see we have our new coefficient, 0.2 or 2/10 or 0.20 times 10 to that negative 2 exponential value. Now, you have to ask yourself a question. Is 2/10 or 0.2, is that a number between 1.0 and 9.99? No. Now, I have to move this decimal. If I moved it to the left, it would be 0.020. It makes this number even smaller or further away from the 1.0. So I'm going to take the decimal, I move it to the right. When I move this decimal to the right, I can add one negative value to the -2 exponential power. So remember in other videos, if you watch my other videos, when you move the decimal to the left, you can add a +1, right? But since we're moving it to the right, the opposite of adding 1 is to subtract 1, or adding a -1 to this -2 exponential power. All right, so I'm going to have a value of a coefficient of 2.0. Is that a number between 1.0 and 9.9? Yes. So that fits the criteria. -2 plus a -1 value. Again, because I moved the decimal to the right. You owe me $2. You borrowed another dollar, and you owed me another dollar. So how much do you owe me in total? You owe me $3. That's represented by a -3. So you can see here our coefficient is 2.0, a number between 1.0 and 9.9. And our base 10 stays the 10 to the -3 exponential power. Hey, I've made mistakes, so if I made a mistake on this one, please let me know. I'd be happy to go make a correction video. Math is easy. Take it step by step. Again, if I've helped you, please help me help others. Like, follow, share, subscribe.